Great day, everyone. Chris Gonzalez here. So I just wanted to take a moment to see if I could help some of you folks that might be struggling. Maybe you just started with CRC. Maybe you're doing it a little while and you're finding that you're having some difficulty finding the right flow or getting customers or actually getting your customers to sign up. And I want to say this, when I first started, I started with a few different business models, pricing strategies, and actually a few different approaches. And here's what I found worked best. Um, if you're trying to collect money before you actually show the value in your product, you're going to have a very, very difficult time. So one thing I found best is to simply just add your clients right into CRC. And as you could see, I mean, no fluff here. I have 2,200 active clients inside of my portal. You can see here's the 24th. I do this with a virtual team where I just operate this business right from my home. So I'm not saying that to impress you in any way. I'm saying that to impress upon you the importance of setting up the right processes when you get started. Process number one, your goal is to add as many people as you can into CRC and actually leverage the tool. And what do I mean by that? So when I add a client, well, just for the record, all these people have already paid me. I have a different process right now. But when I first got started, I found it difficult to get clients. So that's why I'm making this video. So I would simply go in and add your client the way you would, right? You just put first name, last name, email address, last for the social, date of birth, right? And when you come down to turn portal access on, you're then going to hit submit, and that is going to send the client their email. What I would tell the customer is I'm simply just going to add them to my system so that we can do a credit analysis and see exactly where they stand. You know, our customers have tons of questions. They want to know usually specifically what you could do for them. So what I found is to get them off of what I can do for them, let me show them my process. So you add those clients into CRC, they get that first email. Then I'll tell the client, go ahead and check your email. You should have received your login credentials. I'm going to open up that email, and the first thing I want you to do is choose your password. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to scroll down, sign our agreement. It doesn't mean anything right now. I haven't collected any money from you, but this is just part of the process. I'll then walk them through those onboarding steps. Once that's complete, just before the last step, I'll tell them to order their credit reports and scores. Initially, I use Identity IQ, and I'm no longer with them. I have a co-brand through Smart Credit, and that'll be entirely another video. But what you want to do is you want to get those customers to order their reports and scores, because what you're going to do is you're actually going to import their files using one click into your system, and you're going to provide them with the most important tool to turn that prospect into a paying client. And that is send them their credit audit. And I think this is the biggest step that most people miss in the process, right? Because again, customers are going to tie you into answering specific questions. How long does it take? What can you do for me? Okay, let me think about it. But once you show them this process, there's really nothing else to consider other than they got to get started soon. And what do I mean by that, right? So page one, credit analysis report prepared for specifically you, my client, right? Next page, your company information. This welcome, okay, on behalf of Apex Credit Fix, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you as a new client. They're not a client yet, but they will be once you get done, right? What's really important about this page here is right here. This credit analysis report is broken down into the following 5 sections. Number 1, credit score basics. That's going to basically break down the basics of what makes up the customer's credit score and what impact each part of their bureau has the most impact. For example, payments is one category, how many trade lines they have, and so on. The next thing is your credit scores and summary. So that's going to give them a brief summary of how many accounts they have and what they actually score, what their actual scores are. The next one is super, super important. Number three, analysis of your accounts. Number four, an overview of our process meaning you, the credit repair company. And number five, super important, what your customer is going to need to do to help them and you as the credit repair company. Now we're going to just jump to part one. Credit one is credit score basics, where you're basically going to read this example, the cost of good credit and the cost of bad credit. And as you can see in this example, the customer with bad credit is going to pay $9,616 more than the person with good credit. So when a customer turns around and says, well, it's a little expensive and I don't think I can afford it right now, the truth is your client can't afford not to do this. Why? Because as you can see, if I were to get a loan for $23,000 over 66 months, that 1.99 interest would cost the customer $1,300 in interest versus $10,900 in interest, resulting in a payment of $368 versus $513. So here's good credit, here's more credit. When you do the math, it's roughly $150 more per month over the next 5.5 years that customer would pay in interest. And that's just talking about a car. Credit cards are the same way, mortgages. What I advise clients as well is people nowadays can even be turned down for a job based upon their credit. So one really, really good emphasis to make is what that credit cost over time or bad credit, right? Part two of this is your credit scores and summary. So now you're going to say, hey, look, your average is 450, right? 446, 468, 443. We have analyzed your credit reports from the three bureaus, and here's what we found. Here are your scores. Customer probably knows that already. That's why they're sitting in front of you or they're on the phone. It shows that you have 2 delinquent accounts on Equifax, 2 on Experian, 2 on TransUnion. You're currently derogatory, 8 on Experian, and 9 on TransUnion. You have a total of 10, 12, 27 inquiries on your credit, and you have 1 public record across all 3 bureaus. With that being said, you have roughly 35 negative items that are impacting your credit scores. You have this K Jeweler, you have T-Mobile, all included in a bankruptcy. You have some lates. You have one time late with Capital One, one time 60-day late with Capital One, 90-day late, right? And you're just basically reviewing everything that's wrong with their credit. You also have 3 public records. Here are your tons of inquiries. And I would ask the customer at that point, which of these inquiries are attached to open accounts? For example, if a customer has got an open Capital One credit card, you're not going to want to dispute those Capital One inquiries. Why? Why would you dispute it? The customer did apply for it and they were granted credit. But if any of these inquiries are not attached to accounts, you have all the right to dispute them. Credit utilization, it kind of explains where they are. You're at 160%. Why? You only have access to $600 worth of credit, but you have 962, so you're overextended. These are all negative, 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 negative. You definitely need your work. If you decide to move forward, here's what we're going to need from you, okay? And I want to emphasize this section right here, if I could find it. Hold on one second. Part 2, your part in the process. Log into your client portal. They already did. You walked them through this 2-minute video. If you have access to it, fine. I don't use the video. I have a slightly different process. Provide a copy of your ID. I'll still need a copy of your driver's license, ID, or utility bill, etc. And here's how you can help speed up the process. Do not apply for credit while we're working at fixing your credit file. Do not close any accounts. This will lower your scores. Some people might turn around and say, oh, that Capital One, I'm going to go ahead and close that. I don't want that account anymore. Don't do that. It's going to work against you. Pay your credit cards down to below 25% of the available credit line. Sometimes I'll revisit their credit cards. For example, I see this a lot. They have a $250 credit limit on a Capital One card, and they have a $1,000 limit on another card. It's much easier to pay down that $250 limit than it is that $1,000 one. So I would have them pay both minimum payments, but focus on paying that lower credit card first, because that's the card you're going to get below that 25% ratio the quickest, the one that you could pay off the soonest, right? So that's a little tip that you can give them that might help improve their scores. Never spend more than 25% of your available credit. You're basically coaching them on what they should be doing moving forward. You currently have bad credit. Here are the things that you're going to start to do to plan for a better credit future, so to speak, right? Once you're done with this complete audit, it's simple. If you have credit card processing, I would simply ask, so Mr. Customer, what credit card would you like to put on file so we can get started? What are they going to say? Let me think about it. What's there to think about? You really just went over their entire file and they need your help. They can't afford it. Okay, not a problem. We could put your credit card on file. What date would you like us to charge? I mean, there's so many different angles that you could use. If you're not using credit card processing, you're going to have a real difficult time scaling your business. Could you still make it work? Sure. But you need credit card processing. If you don't, how are they going to pay you? Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. Eventually, these platforms will shut you down if you're using for credit repair. But that is a simple way to add people into CRC and begin doing what you do best. And that's simply just using the software. Get those clients in here, send them that onboarding email, get them onboarded, provide them with that audit, and really the rest is a piece of cake, because you've already showed them this credit audit. Very powerful. Anyhow, I hope this helps you if you're just getting started. I hope this helps you if you're struggling. This is how I built a business to over $1 million. And again, not saying that to impress upon you. I'm saying it more so to impress upon you the importance of creating the right process, the right workflow, and sticking with this business so you too can become a part of the Millionaires Club. All right, you guys be great.